Chapter 494 Spineless Nangong 1. He was considered half a spiritual type soul master. However, he had many evil tricks up his sleeves too. His demonic maggot also contained a lethal poison. This was why his abilities were actually mixed. Right now, the masquerade Douluo was already very stiff in the air. He was just like the maggots that were struck by Huo Yuao's spiritual blast earlier. This isn't good. Nangong 1 was horrified. Although he didn't know how the masquerade Douluo was, he knew that the situation wasn't good from how stiff his body was, and how Elder Song had appeared behind him. How is this possible? No matter what, the masquerade Douluo is a titled Douluo. Even an ultimate Douluo can't kill him instantly. To become a titled Douluo, one had to be very strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to handle the strength of a soul core. However, why did the masquerade Douluo seem like he was? However, Elder Song's attack also exposed Huo Yuao. It was as if Huo Yuao was facing the heavenly centipede Nangong 1. The huge centipede crashed down on him with a terrifying and dominant aura. However, what Nangong 1 only saw a grin on Huo Yuao's face. A projection flashed before Huo Yuao transformed into the masquerade Douluo. At this moment, Nangong 1 was already so close that he couldn't retract his attack. As a dark green light flashed, the masquerade Douluo was instantly torn to pieces. Under the effect of the poison from the heavenly centipede true body, he was instantly dissolved and turned into dark green liquid that dripped down. Is Masquerade dead? Nangong 1 was horrified. Although he didn't know how Huo Yuao had switched the masquerade Douluo over, it was evident that the masquerade Douluo had been dealt a lethal blow, given how he was completely helpless against his attack. Right now, Huo Yuao nicely appeared where the masquerade Douluo was earlier. He had used his spiritual duplication to duplicate the Swanwu displacement. He had used the Swanwu displacement many times, and had started to really like this soul skill. It's definitely a life-saving ultimate skill. The only problem is that I need to find Shu Sanchi to duplicate it again every 3 times I use it. Nangong 1 wasn't the only one who was astonished by the masquerade Douluo's death. Even Elder Song was shocked. She would never expect a titled Douluo to be so weak. In fact, the masquerade Douluo's defense collapsed the moment they had clashed with each other. Originally, Elder Song had thought that the masquerade Douluo was critically hurt by her only. Everything happened too quickly. When Nangong 1 completely disintegrated the masquerade Douluo, Huo Yuao had already slipped behind Elder Song. Nangong 1 tensed up before his heavenly centipede true body squirmed. After this, he opened his mouth wide and released a poisonous fog that engulfed Elder Song and Huo Yuao. I can't fight anymore. The masquerade Douluo's death was too weird. He was so weirded out that he started to become fearful. Although he knew that he was stronger than the masquerade Douluo, he also knew that this difference wasn't very big. He didn't want to die here. This was why he had already made up his mind to flee just as he released his poisonous fog. His poisonous fog was very strong. It was his origin skill. No soul power could sweep it away. It could only be avoided. It could even cover a large area. It was the best skill he could use to escape. However, at this moment, the temperature of the air fell significantly. The already chilly night sky turned even colder. Following this, thick snow started to fall from the sky. The poisonous fog that he released contained water too. Suddenly, the water in the fog froze, causing the fog to become much thinner. After this, a blizzard raged. Although the fog couldn't be dissipated by soul power, it was still useless against the snow that fell. The extremely low temperature also greatly restricted Nangong 1's speed. An illusory beam of rose gold light seemed to turn from illusory to real at this moment as it landed on Nangong 1. Nangong 1 groaned, and his spirit shook tremendously. He immediately detached from his heavenly centipede true body. A green projection arrived in front of Nangong 1. All Nangong 1 saw was a mighty green shadow godly eagle. Birds were the natural nemesis of scorpions. This was even more so for the green shadow godly eagle. Nangong 1, who had just sustained an attack from Huo Yuao's spiritual shock, could only conjure his soul power to forcefully clash with Elder Song. The absolute difference in their abilities was demonstrated at this moment. Nangong 1 groaned before he was flung away, spitting blood. Elder Song's green shadow godly eagle immediately flew above his head. It was exactly at this moment that a weird white whirlpool appeared above Nangong 1. He only felt very confused and blurred after he was dealt such a heavy blow. He wanted to use his protective skill, but he couldn't do it. The green shadow godly eagle was now above him, and the eagle pierced its sharp talons into his shoulders. Sharp soul power instantly surged into Nangong 1's body. He screamed in pain once again. His own soul power had been sealed, and he had lost the ability to resist. From the start until the end, the fight lasted less than a minute. Out of the 2 evil titled Douluo, one was killed, and the other was captured. The green shadow godly eagle turned to look at Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao seemed to be very free right now. He flew towards Elder Song and gave her a thumbs up. Let's go, Elder Song. The eagle opened its mouth, and Elder Song's voice sounded. You. It seems like my decision was right to let you command this operation. Let's go. As she spoke, she had already flooded her wings and turned into a streak of green light before charging straight toward Heavenly Spirit City. Huo Yuao used his imitation to hide himself once again before following closely behind her. Elder Song's compliment wasn't without justification. Huo Yuao's abilities left her very impressed. The fight earlier was a clash between 3 titled Douluo, but in fact, Elder Song clearly knew that the entire fight was under Huo Yuao's control. He was definitely a deserved control type soul master. From his mass enfeeblement at the start, Huo Yuao used some kind of method to weaken the masquerade Douluo's defense. After that, Elder Song unleashed her full strength at the masquerade Douluo. That was because Huo Yuao had asked her to do it through his spiritual detection. Otherwise, why would Elder Song abandon Huo Yuao to attack the masquerade Douluo just as the heavenly centipede was approaching him? Elder Song didn't think of that. Naturally, their enemies didn't think of that either. This was how the masquerade Douluo was killed. Huo Yuao controlled the entire proceedings, using his Swanwu displacement to escape from danger. Just as the heavenly centipede wanted to escape, he used a domain type skill to neutralize the poisonous fog. At the same time, he used his spiritual type attack to stall Nangong 1 and knock him out of his martial soul true body. Elder Song came at that point, preventing him from protecting himself with all his strength. Huo Yuao had even offered Nangong 1 his spiritual confusion before Elder Song attacked. Elder Song believed that she could win against both titled Douluo even if she fought them herself. However, it would have been very difficult to keep them in the fight. It would have already been good enough if she could kill one of them. However, it would have taken time. The masquerade Douluo controlled, while the heavenly centipede attacked. If they complemented each other well, they wouldn't have been easy to deal with. However, those 2 evil soul masters were completely under Huo Yuao's thumb and got outplayed. Although they might not have been aware of his abilities, one couldn't discount his power either. What Elder Song truly felt was that all her abilities seemed to have been boosted when she fought alongside Huo Yuao. During the fighting, it was an unprecedentedly great feeling. Right now, she understood why he was such a symbolic figure in the Tang Sect. He was very strong. As there were 2 evil soul masters dealing with Elder Song and Huo Yuao, the Sun Moon Empire didn't send anyone else to attack. When they realized something was amiss, Elder Song and Huo Yuao had already vanished. The 2 evil soul masters had also vanished. They silently returned to Heavenly Spirit City. Nangong 1 had already been knocked out by Elder Song, and they brought him back to the courtyard. The rest hadn't gone to sleep yet. They were waiting for Huo Yuao and Elder Song to return. Hey, Elder Song, who is this? Nan Qiuqiu was waiting in the courtyard. When she saw Huo Yuao and Elder Song returning with Nangong 1, she immediately rushed up to receive them. Elder Song smiled and answered, "We've caught an evil soul master. I'm sure we'll get something if we question him." The rest all walked out from their rooms. Yan Shaosh received them. As he saw Nangong 1, he revealed a pensive look on his face. Nangong 1 looked very pathetic right now. His shoulders were already stained red with blood. Elder Song had crippled the passageways in his arms and sealed his soul power. He was completely disabled now. Elder Song, why is this person so familiar to me? Yan Shaosh asked doubtfully. Elder Song replied, "You're right if he's familiar to you. He's Nangong 1, the heavenly centipede." Yan Shaosh instantly opened his eyes wide. That's actually the heavenly centipede Douluo, Nangong 1? No wonder he seemed so familiar. When I was out exploring after I graduated from the academy, I once interacted with him. His martial soul was very difficult to deal with, especially with the poison in it. I wanted to kill him then, but his poison was too strong. Eventually, he escaped. I didn't expect him to land in your hands today. Elder Song shook her head and said, "He didn't exactly land in my hands. Yuao and I teamed up to capture him. To be honest, I'm starting to like the idea of fighting alongside Yuao. With him around, I feel that my powers have increased." Yan Shaosh didn't expect Elder Song to think so highly of Huo Yuao and laughed. "Elder Song, don't spoil my little junior like that." Elder Song chortled and said, "I mean what I say. Yuao's spiritual power is not inferior to any spiritual type titled Douluo. Apart from his cultivation being slightly weaker, his control and auxiliary abilities are definitely not inferior to a titled Douluo. For fights at our tier, it would be of great help if he were around. Huo Yuao was a little embarrassed as he said, Elder Song, you praise me too much. Elder Song smiled without saying anything. Yan Shaosh laughed. Little junior, don't be so humble. Come, tell us how you faced the heavenly centipede Douluo and describe the entire fighting process. Huo Yuao looked at Elder Song. After Elder Song gave him permission, he described how he had met and fought the two evil soul masters in detail. After hearing that he had killed another evil titled Douluo, Yan Shaosh couldn't laugh anymore. As they were not that strong yet, those from the Tang Sect didn't participate in fights against titled Douluo. However, Yan Shaosh was clearly aware of the abilities of evil titled Douluo. He knew how frustrating they were to deal with him. He questioned whether he could deal with two evil soul masters in such a short time even if he teamed up with Elder Song. From Huo Yuao's description, it seemed like the two evil soul masters were killed even before they managed to unleash their full strength. Huo Yuao's spirit eyes are very mysterious. No wonder Elder Song is so in awe of him. No wonder he's a leading figure of the new generation. No wonder teacher mentioned that the academy would have a pillar once Yuao grows up. The academy's reputation as the top academy on the continent is destined to continue on. Yuao. Yan Shaosh suddenly turned serious and looked at Huo Yuao. Yes? Dean Yan. Huo Yuao didn't understand why Yan Shaosh had suddenly become so serious. Yan Shaosh said, after this operation ends, don't go out so often anymore. Remain in the Tang Sect or on Sea God's Island to cultivate. It's best if you wait until your cultivation reaches that of a titled Douluo before you leave again. Huo Yuao didn't expect Yan Shaosh to say this. He revealed a bitter smile on his face. The Tang Sect already had a teacher son who wouldn't let him leave the sect. Now there was Dean Yan as well. Elder Song nodded in agreement and said, Shaosh is right. After we return this time, I'll talk to Elder Son. Don't leave Shrek City so easily in the future. Elder Song, Dean Yan, why is that? Xiao asked, puzzled. Yan Shaosh smiled and answered, the academy can't afford to lose him. Yuao is too important to the academy's future. Even though soul tools have become the trend of late, individual abilities are still of critical importance at the highest level. In the future, the academy will need someone who is very strong. Yuao is shaping up to be this person. He was like teacher back then. He's even surpassed him. This is why we can't let him take any risks. Elder Song nodded. She completely agreed with Yan Shaosh's point of view. Huo Yuao laughed bitterly and said, titled Douluo. That'll take some time, but there are no buts. Elder Song said, no matter what happens, nothing is more important than your successful development. Whatever you want to achieve outside, the academy can help you. However, you must remain within Shrek City. Bei, you are responsible for watching him after we return. If he sneaks off, I'll question you. Yes. Bei revealed a smile on his face. He secretly thought to himself, it seems like I don't have to worry about little junior's safety for some time now. Huo Yuao coughed and said, Elder Song, Ding Yan, we should interrogate Nangong first. Let's see if we can find out where teacher Xiaoyu is. Elder Song nodded and said, I'm afraid it'll be difficult. Evil soul masters are very twisted. They aren't afraid of dying. Furthermore, we can't force them to say anything. What ideas do you have? Huo Yuao said, I can use my spiritual power to interfere with his thoughts and question him from there on, forcing him to tell the truth. However, my spiritual power must be far beyond his before I can do that, and he's a titled Douluo. Even if his soul power is sealed, his spiritual power is still very strong. I'm afraid it'll be difficult. Yan Shaosh's eyes shone with a cold light. That's simple. I'll just make him sufficiently weak. A person's mind is greatly connected to his body. When someone is weakened beyond a certain degree, his mind will also become weak and vulnerable. You can exploit that opportunity to question him. Huo Yuao nodded and said, if that's the case, I'll give it a go. Everyone else can go back and rest. Shaosh, Yuao, follow me. Elder Song grabbed Nangong with one hand and walked toward a room where no one was staying. Bei said, Elder Song, let me tag along. He was really anxious about Tang Ya's whereabouts. Elder Song nodded and said, all right, you can come along. The four of them led Nangong into the room. Elder Song passed Nangong over to Yan Shaosh and said, Shaosh, you can take over. Yan Shaosh nodded and said, let me take a look at his condition first to first check whether he has any restrictions placed on him. Gentle white light shone from Yan Shaosh's hand. He used his palms to quickly slap Nangong's body. As he started slapping, Nangong started shaking. At the beginning, the shaking was very gentle. However, as Yan Shaosh slapped him even harder, Nangong's body started to shake more and more. To a titled Douluo, the power of his soul core was the core of his strength. Elder Song was using her soul power to seal Nangong's soul core such that it spun at a slower speed. From there, it would be unable to provide him enough soul power. Yan Shaosh only checked for 15 minutes before he stopped. He nodded at Elder Song and said, it should be fine. Even the Holy Ghost Church will find it difficult to put any restrictions on him, given his cultivation. Elder Song nodded and said, let's start then. What do you plan to do? Yan Shaosh's eyes flashed coldly. I'll cripple his soul core first and allow his soul power to dissipate. In this way, he won't harm anyone anymore. Furthermore, without his soul power to support him, his body will become very weak, even with his great spiritual power. Elder Song nodded and said, all right, we'll do that then. You can do it. I'll protect you. Yuao, be prepared. After we cripple his soul power, we don't know what kind of reaction we will elicit. We need to keep from descending into hysteria. Yes. Huo Yuao walked to one side and sat cross-legged on a chair. He temporarily took a rest to restore his energy. Yan Shaosh stood in front of the bed that they had laid Nangong out in. His hands formed a ring in front of his body. Gentle white soul power surged out, and gradually turned in gold. The soul power undulations that were released also started to dance like flames. The soul power slowly formed a whirlpool that drifted above Nangong. It wasn't easy trying to cripple a titled Douluo soul core. It was like what had happened when Huo Yuao performed the test. A huge explosion could occur if one's soul core was affected. If the soul core of a titled Douluo exploded, it could potentially be very dangerous. If a titled Douluo died, just like the masquerade Douluo, things would still be fine. This was because the soul core of a dead titled Douluo would shrink and slowly vanish as he gradually lost his life energy. Even if an explosion occurred, it would happen in another dimension. It wouldn't affect this world. However, to cripple a soul master's soul core before he was dead was much more troublesome. A soul master's soul core depended on the soul master's life energy. To cripple his soul core, the soul power in his soul core had to be guided out, and the soul core had to be destroyed just as it was at its weakest point. The white flames that revolved above Nangong spun even faster. A white whirlpool suddenly appeared in front of Yan Shaosh's belly. That was where his soul core was located at. Yan Shaosh was a transcendent Douluo. As Elder Muse inheriting disciple and the dean of Shrek Academy's martial soul department, he was very strong. His radiant phoenix was a top-ranked martial soul, and he was a transcendent Douluo. All these years, his soul power had been slowly improving. He was now a rank 96 titled Douluo. Compared to Elder Song, he was only inferior by one rank. Although the difference in this one rank was very great, Yan Shaosh might not be much weaker than Elder Song if he fought her with his full strength, considering that his martial soul was much stronger. Right now, the aura of his soul core was released. Huo Yuao, who was resting, had some kind of feeling. He didn't need to open his eyes, and he only silently sensed the soul power undulations from Yan Shaosh's body. He was secretly impressed. Yan Shaosh's soul power was also circulating in a whirlpool state around his soul core. However, the circulation of his soul power was much slower compared to Huo Yuao. That was because his soul power was completely fluid. If Huo Yuao's soul core was like a tornado in the sky, then Yan Shaosh's soul core was like a huge whirlpool that could devour everything in the ocean. The soul power that it contained was much greater. A titled Douluo is indeed a titled Douluo. As Huo Yuao was secretly in awe, he was also reflecting on himself. As his abilities increased, his self-confidence also grew. He was even confident of fighting some titled Douluo. However, the aura that Yan Shaosh exuded right now made him fully aware of how far inferior he was. Wasn't that the case? Although he appeared to have controlled the fight earlier, that was because Elder Song was around. If not for her, he would be dead against an evil titled Douluo even if it was just a duel. If those two evil titled Douluo had unleashed their full strength right from the start, he wouldn't have been able to take advantage or even handle a fight at that tier. Elder Song and Dean Yan were both right. He had to be stronger. After he returned this time, he had to work harder on his cultivation as he learned about soul tools from Teacher Sun. At least he had to fully absorb the manifold mysterious ice essence in his body first. As Huo Yuao was thinking about all that, Yan Shaosh began. The white whirlpool above Nangong slowly descended. The sharp part of it landed directly on Nangong's dantian. When it touched Nangong's body, Nangong shuddered and regained consciousness. When he saw the flame on his body as he awoke, he was astonished. He clearly felt that his soul power was quickly seeping out from his dantian. It slowly dissipated, and as it dissipated, it entered another dimension. They're trying to cripple my soul power. Nangong was horrified as he said, No, no. You can't do this. You've harmed so many people. Yan Shaosh said coldly. We are only carrying out justice. We are already being very merciful by not killing you. It's a good thing to get rid of your abilities as an evil soul master. No, I beg you. Leave me some soul power. I'll let you do whatever you want. To a titled Douluo, the dissipation of his soul power was too terrifying. He was too used to having great strength. The moment he lost it all would be more tormenting than death itself. Yan Shaosh was moved and asked, Oh, you'll let me do whatever I want? Nangong couldn't move, and could only speak. Yes, I'll do anything you want. If you need me to, I can become an undercover agent in the Holy Ghost Church. You can put restrictions on my body. As long as you let me keep my soul power, I'm willing to do anything. Elder Song furrowed her brow and looked at Yan Shaosh. On the other side, Huo Yuao had also slowly opened his eyes. They didn't expect Nangong to be so spineless. All right, let me ask you a few questions first. Yan Shaosh said. However, the whirlpool was still sucking away his soul power. Nangong answered in pain. Can you stop sucking away my soul power first? Yan Shaosh snorted coldly and said, As long as a titled Douluo's soul core isn't destroyed, isn't it easy to restore his soul power? We can leave it like this. It'll keep you awake too. Let me ask you now. Answer me as quickly as possible. If you hesitate, I'll destroy your soul core. You only have one chance. Don't test my determination. All right. Ask me then. Nangong knew that he was doomed. In front of a transcendent Douluo, there was no way he could take his chances. Where's the Holy Ghost Church's headquarters? Yan Shaosh asked. After hearing his question, Nangong was stunned, then laughed bitterly. I can't tell you. Before I entered the church, and all those who were able to enter the headquarters had restrictions placed on them. Once we reveal anything, the restriction will be triggered. Surely you don't want me to blow apart, right? Yan Shaosh was afraid in his heart. If not for Huo Yuao's previous experience, he would have his doubts. However, he was convinced this time. In spite of this, he remained very stern. You're a titled Douluo, who can place those restrictions on you. As he spoke, he immediately strengthened the suction of Nangong's soul power. Nangong hurriedly said, I really can't say anything. Our supreme leader was the one who personally placed the restrictions on us. Apart from her, the sect leader, vice sect leader, and the chief of the worship hall, everyone else in the sect has had restrictions placed on them. Once we mention where our headquarters is, we'll immediately blow up and die. Yan Shaosh furrowed his brow. Does this mean that the Holy Ghost Church can take your life at any time if you betray them? Nangong said, That won't happen. It's not easy placing restrictions on someone to control them. The supreme leader's curse can only be triggered through a very specific way. It's only when I entertain the thought of revealing the specific place in my head. Apart from this, there won't be any other effect. So this curse can't be removed? Yan Shaosh asked. Nangong laughed bitterly. It's not impossible. If someone's spiritual power is greater than the supreme leader's, this curse can still be removed. However, it's too difficult. The supreme leader is an ultimate Douluo. She's too strong. Yan Shaosh nodded and asked. All right, let me ask you then. How many people are there in the Holy Ghost Church? How are they divided? This time, Nangong didn't hesitate, and immediately said, The most powerful figure in the Holy Ghost Church is our supreme leader, who is also the Sun Moon Empire's death god Douluo. Apart from her, we also have our sect leader and vice sect leader. They are married. Our sect leader is called Zhongli, while our vice sect leader is called Fengling. We have 8 honorary elders below them, who are all titled Douluo. There are evil soul masters of different tiers underneath these 8 elders. Apart from all of us, there are also special people in our church, including the 2 holy ladies. Great hope has been placed on them. They are very talented. That's why they hold important positions in the church. They're even more important than the 8 honorary elders. The evil soul masters in the Holy Ghost Church worship hall are the strongest. The hall master of the worship hall, who is also the chief of the worship hall, is the Darkness Holy Dragon and Dragon Emperor Douluo, Wang Xiaya. He has 11 others in the worship hall under him. They are all titled Douluo, and 5 of them are even transcendent Douluo, including the chief. There are 12 of them. Their statuses are very high in the church. Only the supreme leader can command them. Even the sect leader can't do so. Yan Shaosh and Elder Song looked at each other. They had really benefited greatly from catching Nangong this time. Such information was too valuable to Shrek Academy and the 3 empires of the original Douluo continent. Finally, they had some knowledge of the Holy Ghost Church's internal structure. According to Nangong, the Holy Ghost Church had more than 20 titled Douluo, including 2 ultimate Douluo. They were indeed very strong. Bei continued asking from one side, why aren't the 8 honorary elders in the worship hall if they are titled Douluo too? Nangong replied, the worship are hired by the church. They aren't all evil soul masters. The 8 elders have lineages related to the church. That's why they're different. Furthermore, those that are evil soul masters in the worship hall are all very talented. Their martial souls are also very strong. For example, the scorpion tiger Douluo Jiang Peng is one of them. Bei asked again, apart from you and the masquerade Douluo, who else from the Holy Ghost Church is at the front line? Is the masquerade Douluo one of the 8 honorary elders? Nangong answered, masquerade is ranked 7th among the elders. Apart from the 2 of us, the sect leader is also at the front line. There's the sect leader, a holy lady and 6 members from the worship hall. Excluding me and masquerade, there are 2 other honorary elders here. I'm ranked 2nd among the elders. Out of the other 2 elders, one is the 3rd elder, the dark lightning Douluo. Although his soul power is only at rank 92, he's also a class 9 soul engineer. His abilities aren't beneath mine. The other one is the 4th elder, the netherworld Douluo. His martial soul is a netherworld sword, and he's at rank 93. After hearing the words 3rd elder and 4th elder, Huo Yuao suddenly jumped off from his seat. He revealed a hateful look on his face. If not for their ambush then, Wang Qiao wouldn't have needed to sacrifice herself. Huo Yuao deeply hated the both of them. Yan Shaosh squinted and muttered to himself, the Holy Ghost Church is really relentless. They actually have 11 evil titled Douluo. This time, we killed one of them and captured another one, but there are still 9 left. These evil soul masters are definitely more terrifying than class 9 stationary soul cannons if they join the war. I remember news from the Heavenly Soul Empire that purported that the borders of the empire were only breached because of the evil soul masters, and the great casualties they caused. The same happened when Heaven Do City was attacked. Huo Yuao came to the bedside at this moment, suppressing his hatred and asked, what are your holy ladies called? And where are they? Nangong said, they have no name. We call them Holy Lady directly. The one at the front line right now is the Blue Silver Holy Lady. The other one, known as the Phoenix Holy Lady, is with the Vice Sect leader. The Blue Silver Holy Lady follows the sect leader, as he holds an important position. He stays in the tent next to the central tent in the Imperial Dragon Soul Engineer Legions area. It's easy to identify because it's golden. The Blue Silver Holy Lady stays in a tent beside his. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.